11, 5, 9 and 20 miles today, 4, 11, 17, 32 the day before, moving up and down again. There's no discharge in the war.
28 years later is the highly anticipated continuation of the groundbreaking horror franchise that first redefined the zombie genre with 28 Days Later. Set nearly 3 decades after the initial outbreak of the rage virus, this new installment explores a world that has barely survived the catastrophic events that reshaped society. The film begins in a dramatically altered United Kingdom, where civilization is fragile and the remnants of humanity are scattered across fortified settlements. The streets that were once vibrant with life are now eerily deserted, overrun by nature, and haunted by the memories of a virus that changed everything. The sense of isolation and danger is palpable, making the world of 28 years later simultaneously familiar and unsettling. The plot revolves around a group of survivors who navigate this post-apocalyptic landscape, confronting both the lingering threat of the infected and the darker aspects of human behavior that have emerged in a world where moral codes have largely collapsed. These survivors are a mix of familiar faces from the original films and entirely new characters, each bringing unique perspectives and personal struggles to the story. The central figure is a character who has spent decades in relative safety, but is forced back into the chaos when a new mutation of the virus begins to emerge. This character's journey is both physical and psychological, exploring themes of resilience, guilt, and the weight of memory in a society that has been traumatized by repeated waves of infection. The returning elements from the original films maintain the franchise's signature tension and horror, but 28 years later pushes the narrative further by examining the long-term consequences of the rage virus on human civilization. The filmmakers delve into how survivors adapt, the formation of new social orders, and the ethical dilemmas that arise when survival is constantly threatened. Unlike earlier films, where immediate danger was the primary focus, this story balances high-octane action sequences with introspective moments, allowing the audience to understand the profound emotional and societal shifts caused by years of living under constant threat. The tension is heightened by a cinematic style that juxtaposes wide shots of desolate cityscapes with intimate close-ups of characters grappling with fear, trauma, and hope. The cast for 28 Years Later blends veteran actors with fresh talent, creating a dynamic ensemble that embodies the desperation, courage, and moral complexity of the world they inhabit. Returning actors provide continuity for fans of the franchise, portraying older versions of characters whose experiences over the past decades add layers to their personas. New cast members bring energy and perspective, often serving as the audience's guide through a world that has changed in both subtle and dramatic ways. The chemistry between characters is essential to the film, as trust, betrayal, and alliances drive much of the narrative. Relationships are tested in extreme circumstances, highlighting how fear and scarcity can both forge and fracture bonds between people. The film's direction honors the legacy of the original, while incorporating modern cinematic techniques to enhance the horror and intensity. The use of practical effects combined with subtle visual effects ensures that the infected remain terrifyingly realistic without feeling overdone. The mutated forms of the virus exhibit unpredictable behavior, creating suspense and keeping both characters and audiences on edge. The action sequences are meticulously choreographed, blending horror, suspense, and drama to maintain the franchise's signature adrenaline-fueled storytelling. Cinematography plays a crucial role in building atmosphere, using desaturated color palettes, decayed urban environments, and the contrast between empty cityscapes and claustrophobic interiors to evoke unease and tension. sound design, and music further immerse viewers into the world of 28 years later. The score combines haunting melodies with abrupt, jarring notes that mirror the unpredictability of the infected and the emotional turbulence of the survivors. Silence is used strategically, heightening suspense and allowing the audience to feel the isolation and uncertainty that define the characters' daily lives. The auditory experience reinforces the narrative's themes, reminding viewers that in this world, danger is never far, and the past continues to echo through every deserted street and abandoned building. One of the standout aspects of the film is its exploration of moral ambiguity. The survivors face situations where the distinction between right and wrong becomes blurred. Ethical dilemmas arise when resources are scarce, when trust is tested, and when survival may require actions that would have been unthinkable in the pre-apocalypse world. The story challenges viewers to consider what it means to remain human in circumstances that strip away societal norms and force individuals to confront the raw instincts of survival. This thematic depth adds layers to the horror, making it more than just a story about monsters, but a reflection on humanity itself under extreme conditions. The narrative also emphasizes the psychological consequences of prolonged exposure to trauma. Characters are shaped by decades of fear, loss, and adaptation, and the film delves into how these experiences affect decision-making, relationships, and identity. Flashbacks to the original outbreak provide context and deepen the audience's understanding of characters' motivations, highlighting how past trauma continues to influence present actions. The film portrays a world where memory is both a burden and a guiding force, shaping choices in a society where every decision could be a matter of life or death. Action sequences are balanced with quieter, character-driven moments that explore resilience, ingenuity, and the human spirit. The survivors' interactions with each other and with the remnants of civilization reveal the fragility of trust and the enduring need for connection, even in the bleakest circumstances. Themes of hope, redemption, and perseverance run throughout the story, creating emotional resonance amid the tension and horror. The narrative demonstrates that while the world may have changed dramatically, the fundamental human desire for community, safety, and meaning persists. The infected and 28 years later are more than mere antagonists. They represent the unpredictable consequences of a world altered by science, fear, and human error. The film explores new mutations and behaviors that make encounters with the infected even more dangerous and psychologically taxing. These creatures are not mindless zombies in the traditional sense. Their intelligence, unpredictability, and aggressive instincts create a constant sense of threat. The tension arises not only from physical danger, but from the anticipation of what could happen at any moment, keeping the audience on edge throughout the film. The production design reflects the world's collapse and the passage of time since the original outbreak. Urban environments have decayed, nature has reclaimed portions of cities, and the remnants of human habitation tell stories of abandonment, loss, and adaptation. Every location is carefully chosen to reinforce the film's themes of isolation, resilience, and the lingering presence of the past. The attention to detail immerses the audience in a world where survival is a daily challenge, and every environment contributes to the narrative's tension and atmosphere. 28 Years Later also examines the role of leadership and social structures in post-apocalyptic survival. Various groups of survivors have developed different approaches to governance, security, and resource allocation, creating conflicts and alliances that drive much of the plot. The film explores how fear and necessity can shape political and social hierarchies, highlighting the complexity of rebuilding civilization after a catastrophic collapse. These dynamics provide depth to the story, illustrating that the greatest challenges are not only the infected, but also navigating the complexities of human behavior in extreme circumstances. The film maintains a careful balance between horror, suspense, and drama, ensuring that each element supports the others rather than overshadowing them. The pacing allows for moments of intense action to be interspersed with slower, more reflective scenes that develop character and theme. This balance keeps audiences engaged, providing both thrills and emotional depth, and ensuring that the story resonates beyond its immediate shocks. In addition to its narrative and thematic strengths, 28 Years Later emphasizes the importance of visual storytelling. Cinematic techniques, including camera angles, lighting, and composition, are used to convey tension, emotion, and narrative information without relying solely on dialogue. The interplay of shadows, reflections, and movement creates a sense of unease and anticipation, enhancing the horror elements while reinforcing the story's emotional impact. The film's marketing and trailers have generated significant anticipation, showcasing glimpses of desolate cityscapes, tense encounters with infected, and emotionally charged moments between characters. Early reactions to promotional material suggest that fans of the franchise will appreciate the continuity, while newcomers will be drawn to the high-stakes drama, visual intensity, and psychological complexity. The combination of returning elements and new narrative directions positions 28 Years Later as a major entry in the horror genre, promising both spectacle and substance. Ultimately, 28 Years Later is a story about survival, resilience, and the human capacity to adapt in the face of relentless adversity. It examines the long-term effects of trauma, the moral complexity of survival, and the psychological impact of living in a world shaped by fear and violence. By combining thrilling action, terrifying horror, and deep emotional and ethical exploration, the film delivers a comprehensive cinematic experience that honors its predecessors while forging a distinct identity. Audiences are invited to witness the consequences of decades of living under the shadow of a deadly virus, to explore the fragility and strength of human relationships, and to experience a post-apocalyptic world that is as thought-provoking as it is terrifying. 28 Years Later stands as a testament to the enduring appeal of the franchise, blending horror, suspense, and drama with psychological and ethical depth. It challenges viewers to consider what it means to survive, to maintain humanity, and to confront the consequences of past actions in a world that has been irrevocably altered. Through compelling storytelling, striking visuals, and complex characters, the film delivers a gripping, immersive, and unforgettable cinematic journey that redefines what it means to endure in the aftermath of catastrophe.